Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape, vinyl tape,
carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneurial Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am your host, Kevin Wortham. Listen, today I am so excited. Let me take that back. Why do I always say that? Why do I always say that I'm always excited? I am always excited, but today I think you're going to really be at joy for this young lady that I'm going to present to the platform. Tonya, talk to me.
Yes.
Welcome to the platform. How are you?
I am amazing. How are you?
Awesome. That's what I want to hear. So first of all, we're going to get started. We're going to give Miss Gail Robertson a shout out, my dear friend, and perhaps your friend as well. Well,
absolutely.
She better be
absolutely.
She better be your dear friend.
Listen, yes, she is
Okay.
a friend and a mentor. She's been in my life since I was 13 years old.
Absolutely. So Gail and I used to work together over at Martin Luther King Junior High School with the Minding Our Business program. We had an inclusionary program. It was a I guess, self-contained program called Minding Our Business, where all we did for the whole year was infuse the entrepreneurial idea and the theme throughout every single classroom. The entrepreneurial classroom, math, reading, everything was all about entrepreneurship. So again, shout out to
amazing.
Gail. Yes. So Gail subscribes to the Entrepreneur Enclave channel, and she says, I've got this young lady that I think would be perfect for your show. And so when when Miss Gail says that, you say, okay, Miss Gail, we're going to jump on it. So that's what we're doing. So Tonya, let's do Miss Gail proud. What brings you to the platform today?
Well, I think what sparked her attention, she's known me for years, like I said.
Yes.
I actually didn't know her at Junior 1 because, it's Martin Luther King, excuse me. But I live right down the street from her. But down from Junior 1 on Southern Street.
Yes.
But I attended church with her, and she's been following me for years, and she's just been seeing some of the work I do with my students, as well as work I do with my nonprofit. So she was like, yeah, there's somebody I need you to meet, and I need you to talk to.
All right.
So she was very adamant, as well as, contacting you as well.
Yes. So now let's jump into your not-for-profit work that you do first. What's the name of the company, and what's the type of work that you do?
Okay, the name of the company is AJ and the Cool Kids.
Yes. And
my son has autism, and after a long struggle of my husband and I trying to have children, God blessed us with AJ.
Yes.
And AJ, we found out later, was autistic.
Yes.
And what we ended up doing is once we found out everything and found out what that entails, we ended up, just providing the best cares and services for him.
Yes.
But what we discovered is that people around us were getting diagnosed left and right, friends, family, different things like that, and they didn't have the money for services.
Yes.
Services are very costly. Even if you're at a certain income, they only cover a certain amount.
Yes.
So therefore, we decided to start this nonprofit so we could provide money to people surrounding areas nationwide in order to get money for their services.
Wow. Now, what is autism? What does that actually mean? Yes.
Autism is a cognitive developmental disease.
Yes.
And it has so many levels. That's why it's called a spectrum.
Yes.
So autism spectrum disorder is definitely something that's across the board and that kids are being diagnosed with at a rapid rate right now. And that's what
let me stop you. Why is the rate of diagnosis so high?
You know what's funny? They don't know.
Okay.
And that's the hardest. They don't have a pinpoint issue. Okay. Now, we'll say now more modern technology, they're doing more tests called Fragile X and things like that to determine if you have that gene.
Okay.
But right now, they really don't know what's going on.
Wow. Okay. So how long have you had the foundation?
This is our first year.
Wow. Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you. So we started it last January.
Yes.
And we're going to come up on a full year this coming January. But in that short year, we ended up creating, having a gala and having an amazing fundraiser and was able to donate to our first family. And she was so grateful because she's one of the parents that is right in that, you have parents that are right at that poverty line where they figure you can still afford things, but you really can't because you look great on paper. But in reality, you're living from pillar to post. Yeah. So she was very grateful because she could not get anything from any type of services. And our money provided her to get that.
Now, Tonya, let me slow down and ask this question, right? So, in the work of the foundation, are we starting to look at, or will we look at policies so that more people that are in the need can receive that? Are we going to look to do any policy work?
Yes, we're moving into education, policy work, as well as finances.
Yes,
so I have an amazing board, and my board consists of actual doctors, people psychologists. I have one of my great board members who actually works in the school that I work with, and she's an EC teacher, but she's also worked with different levels, Autism Speaks, and Teach, which is an organization in North Carolina. And they have equipped her with everything from top to bottom policies, procedures, where you need to go when you're first diagnosed, what things you can do to help your child, and what is needed. So we're definitely moving into all those different areas.
Now, along those lines, right, is the foundation going to also put you in line or in touch with doctors in clinics that specialize with children and families that have autistic children or children that are autistic? Awesome.
Yes. So my son has he has two doctors. One is a behavior specialist, which is your doctor that specializes in autism or actually developmental delays in general. And then we also have just a regular pediatrician, but he's also well-versed in autism and things related. So we definitely, with the doctor that we have on the board, she works for a hospital group down here called Novant. And she is actually actively recruiting people that will give us more insight as to how people are diagnosed, what signs to look for, and how to educate yourself on doing that. And then on the policy side, we are working with autism foundations to know what your rights are as a parent once your child is diagnosed.
Yes. Now let's stop it there, because now I've got to ask the entrepreneurial questions, right? When you started the foundation, what were some of the challenges? Did you put together a business plan? How did you go about seeking board members? Let's talk about that part first.
So what I did first is, I'm going to be honest, I used LegalZoom. I wanted to get the legal stuff. Yes, I wanted to get the legal stuff out the way first. So I used LegalZoom, and they set up the 501c3. And in the beginning, we had a skeleton crew.
Okay.
It was me, my husband, and another board member.
Okay.
Because that's all you need to actually start a nonprofit. You just need 3 people.
Absolutely.
And then you roll into who you think is capable of actually, executing your vision.
Yes.
So I decided to go with people that I knew that were executed the way I wanted it to be executed. So first person that I chose for my board was the lady that I just spoke about, Jenna Spence.
Yes.
And she knew everything there is to know about special educators. She's worked in different areas, camps for students with autism,
yes.
just all different types of fields. Then I said I needed a medical professional.
Yes.
So I decided to seek out a medical professional. And the way I found her, she came to my gala.
Okay.
And she said, I want to help in any way that I can. And I interviewed her. I sat and I had lunch with her, interviewed her, and made sure her vision aligned with mine.
Yes.
And chose her. The other student that I had on board is a younger person. The only reason I chose somebody younger is because social media is a real thing.
Yes, it is.
And I am not, I'm well versed enough to post and do things like that.
Yes.
But she's of that generation that's what they live through. They drive through, they post their life everywhere.
Yes.
So she's my social media person.
Okay.
She posts TikToks, Instagrams, different things that's going to chronicle my son's life.
Wonderful.
And anyone with autism and different facts and things like that.
Wonderful.
So she's going to drive my social media piece. And with any type of nonprofit that you're starting, it's always great to have somebody younger than you and somebody that because it just helps you to stay abreast of all the trends.
Yes, yes.
And sometimes you have young mothers or young parents, and they might get their information from Facebook because, most of them, I live my life. I get my news off of Instagram or social media.
Yes. Well,
so,
there was a recent report that came out that people who call themselves Generation Z, 75% of them say they get their information either from Facebook or from a website. So
exactly.
So it's not even the news anymore that perhaps you and I would receive it. So I understand.
Yes, so that's how I chose those particular people.
Yes.
And I wanted to make sure that I had all levels of understanding, learning, because it's always good to not be the smartest one in the room. Yes. Because sometimes being the smartest one in the room, you make the dumbest decisions. So I make sure that I surround myself with very knowledgeable people because there are things I just still don't know. And I'm learning as a mom of a child with ASD. Absolutely.
Now, let's go back into the business plan. So we've got the business plan. We're rounding out the board with these persons, right?
Mm-hmm.
At any point, are you saying to your husband,
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, AJ.
Right.
At any point, are you saying to your husband, what's the real drive for this beyond my son? We're doing this because of the social injustice that people of color are going to receive or going to come across. What's the real drive beyond your son?
I'm going to tell you, this was the deep inherent drive.
Yes.
I'm a teacher, been a teacher for 19 years.
Yes.
And I've seen teachers tell a parent, hey, I think it would be a good idea to get your child tested for A, B, and C.
Yes.
The stigma in the African-American community is don't label my child.
Got you.
And we wanted to let people know that it's okay to label your child.
Yes.
It's okay to give them supports they need. And I even have an aunt that told me, and she was an educator, and she said to me, my cousin is, he's on the spectrum as well. And she said, Tonya, if I would have known where he was back then, I think he would have been more independent. He would have had a better quality of life. And I have a lot of older parents from that generation, don't label my child,
yes,
that feel that way. And so we wanted to, erase that stigma. And I wanted to let parents know that it's okay. If your child has developmental delay, it's okay. If they have ASD, it's okay. We need to make sure we give the best learning, living environment for our children. And that would be the biggest drive for me starting the organization, not even money. I said the money will come, and that's what people need to realize when they start a nonprofit. People love a feel-good story.
Yes.
They love giving. They love making sure they are part of something that's greater than them.
Yes.
And I want people to know that ASD is here to stay. And it's not a race thing. It's cross races, genres. We're getting more and more young ladies actually that are getting diagnosed with ASD because for a while it was pretty prominent in boys and really prominent in African American boys. And all they were saying, even though they don't use this word anymore, they were just calling them MR. They were like, oh, he's just MR. And for people that don't know what MR is, that's mentally retarded.
Yes.
And now they call it ID, which is intellectually disabled.
Yes.
So they were just saying, oh, there's this ID or MR. Just throw them in the class with a resource teacher and they'll be okay. But no, a lot of these kids, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me stop you because and I know you're going to bring clarity to this question.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in the school system, I'm not a teacher, but I was I still am the co-founder of Minding Our Business. So as I mentioned to you, we had this learning community called Minding Our Business.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would often hear about parents who their child was labeled as being special needs or in special education, right?
Right.
They got additional money because their child, and a lot of times they would say, I'm going to keep my child in this program because I'm getting additional money.
Right.
Speak to that for me. How do we break that cycle?
See, and that's one, and that's the disadvantage of. I'm going to tell you, there's two sides to that. Yes, get extra money. Yes, it will help your child, but also it takes away from people like me who don't qualify for anything because sometimes the reserve is gone. Sometimes you're just doing it to.
But again, they were pimping out their child. They weren't
absolutely.
They weren't using the child. They weren't using this money for their child's need. I mean, they would come to school now with a different piece of drip or gold on now.
Wow.
So I'm saying to you, how do we wrap our arms and how does the community get behind this young parent? And we say, listen, it's okay for your son or your daughter to be labeled as such, but we as an advocate team, we've got to make sure you do this the correct way.
Exactly. I think that it's education.
Yes.
It's education, Kevin. There's nothing else I can pinpoint but telling them the right way.
Yes.
Because you got to think about it. If you're a young mom and you're on a fixed income, maybe you're on public assistance, whatever, and they tell you, okay, your child is labeled this. You can get an extra Social Security check for $1,000 a month if you just go get this diagnosis. And you're telling me I'm getting an extra $1,000 a month and I don't have to work for it?
Yes.
I am going to do that. And I'm going to continue to do that and make sure I find doctors that will do that for me. And what they're realizing is what they don't realize, is they're making a disservice to their child who's probably not getting the proper care that money is supposed to go to.
Yes.
And that is where, again, education comes in. Sitting that mom down after that diagnosis, telling her what's available to her, but what it should be used for.
Yes. Yes.
And that's usually where we step in and say, okay, yes, you can get this and you can get A, B, C, or D, but you also have to use it for this 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And you cannot do this for this, and you cannot use it for your self-care spa. You have to use it for your child to do this. Yeah. And most parents don't know. And it's really, mind-boggling that most of them don't know what to do when money's awarded. They have no idea.
Wow.
No idea.
Now, I'm jumping way ahead.
It's okay.
Now, is the foundation also set up to provide what I don't know the terminology, but I want to call it aftercare. So once your son becomes, say, 18 and he's a man, are there additional programs that you will advocate or show the parents as to how to set up, or is there a different level of insurance policy that you need to set up so that if you and your husband are no longer here, who provides for your son? Is there insurance policy that kicks in to provide for him, to give him someone that will look after him?
Absolutely.
Are those things are those things in the works that your foundation is going to do as well?
Yes, we actually have my husband honestly actually took some courses to become an insurance agent
Awesome.
so he can educate himself and others on how to set up a trust. And that is where the money comes in.
Yes.
And that is where, when we are not here anymore, my daughter
Yes.
will, go, the sole custody will go to her.
Yes.
And she will know how to not only take care of my son,
yes.
but the money will be allotted to her,
yes.
In certain stages of his life. So say, okay, when he turns this age, then this certain amount of money is released. When he turns this age, then this certain amount of money. And that's called a trust.
Yes.
And most people don't know you can get that through your insurance company, but they're not educated. So that is what we're here to do.
I love it. I love it. So let's stop again. One more time with the name of the foundation.
AJ and the Cool Kids Incorporated.
I love it. I love it. And so while we're taping, I want you to know AJ's in the background. He's having a good time. He's cheering you on.
Yes.
So let's keep it going.
Yes.
Does AJ want to say something on the podcast on your behalf, Mom?
No, the only thing that AJ's concerned about is why we're not getting in the car right now, and I'm like, because I'm on the phone. Okay. So AJ is he'll make noises in the background, and that's the great thing about my son.
Yes.
He was completely nonverbal, but now he's verbal because I had the right education in place.
Now,
that's what it is.
If I were to mention AJ and you were to put the phone to his ear, what would be his response now?
He would probably say hello.
Okay, can we try that?
Yes.
Okay.
You say hello.
Hello.
Come on, AJ. How are you, my friend?
Fine.
I love you. I love it. I love
you.
I
love you.
Oh my God. Oh, this is fantastic, Tonya. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Anytime.
Oh my God. Listen, I want to wish you and your foundation and your husband nothing but success. AJ, we're gonna stay close to you and make sure that we really get the additional support that the community needs to know more about this story.
Thank you.
So let us continue. So
okay.
What does the foundation look like 3 years from now, and what does it look like 10 years from now?
3 years from now, we're hoping to provide at least 7 to 10 families with fully funded speech, OT. We even have equestrian therapy.
Yes.
Everything. That's what we're looking like in the next 3 years. In the next 10 years, I want to be able to do this full time and provide any family worldwide who reaches out to us services for their children.
Wow. Now, when we talked about the business plan, did we also put together the strategic plan in terms of your growth and your outreach, and what would that look like?
My growth and my outreach, the way it works, it's what I've learned is that I had to bring people in to teach me actually how to do growth and outreach. Coming from a smaller background, like not really knowing how to actually facilitate that, I had to learn how to do those things. So with growth, I hired a lady who's she's a business strategist. I guess that's the best way to give her a title. I might be giving her the wrong title.
Yes.
But what she is going to do for me, she actually is in a doctorate program. Excuse me. And in her doctorate program, she teaches businesses how to grow and expand by writing their 5 and 10 year plan and making it plain, not something that's unrealistic. Mainly, as y'all state, doing SMART goals. And doing those SMART goals has helped me kind of align what can happen and what cannot happen, and actually the fallout from it. Okay. So if my growth, like I stated, if the next 3 years I can't provide 7 to 10 families, why did that look that way? What was the shortfall that caused me not to make it to those 7 to 10 families and to provide those funding? So she's literally laying out my plan, and it's all a part of her actual dissertation. Okay. And so I was blessed to come across her. She's my sorority sister.
Okay.
And
which sorority do you belong to?
Zeta Phi Beta Incorporated.
Yes.
And I was actually made right there in Trenton, New Jersey, actually.
Okay.
And Epsilon Xi Zeta. So quick shout out to them. But what she wanted to do is make sure I had a solid place and plan.
Yes.
And plan in place, excuse me. And she was like, this is how we do it. I want to lay this out. And who are your key players in place that you know that are not there for just their own gain?
Yes.
Now, something she did school me to, which I never thought of, I have my board members sign NDAs.
Oh, yes.
And the reason, and I didn't know that, I just was a trusting person, but she said you could trust anyone in the world and they could take your beautiful idea and run and make their own foundation.
Yes.
And she said, so I need, you need those NDAs in place, and you need to allow people to serve only a certain amount of time.
Yes.
Switching out the board is going to make it fresh and new. She
Yes.
said you're just not, getting rid of people, but you're keeping the ideas fresh and you're keeping it, up on the latest trends and different terms in business. So not only does she have a background in that, getting her doctorate in organizational planning, but she also has a background in finance. So I kind of have two great ends of the spectrum.
Awesome. And that is wonderful sound advice. Unfortunately, we all have good intentions.
Yes.
When we think that there's a pot at the end of the rainbow.
Yes.
And that changes people like you wouldn't believe. So
I just experienced that. I just experienced that because one of our original board members is actually no longer a board member.
Yes.
And she had some amazing ideas, but I actually had to let her go.
Yes.
And it wasn't anything personal, but it was just a business decision. And
Absolutely.
I told her that. I said, as we grow, I have to grow with the organization.
Yes.
And it's never a hurt feelings. You always have to separate business and personal. And if someone, can't get to the point, that's why it's always good to have neutral board members, maybe not necessarily having your family as board members.
Probably the worst sometimes.
Yes, probably the worst. So I tell people all the time, have someone that you trust on a certain level,
Yes.
but that has nothing to do and possibly nothing to gain from your organization.
Yes.
But to see it grow and succeed, because they'll come in knowing that them being a part of the process will profit them in the long run.
Yes.
Maybe not in the first couple of years, but once you turn a profit, it definitely will benefit you in the long run.
Now, when we were prepping, I don't know if I asked you, now, which school system are you working in now?
Well, I work for Mountain Island Charter, so we're our own school system.
Yes.
What's unique about us is that we are our own superintendent, we are our own HR. We're a unique charter school, so we are not attached to anybody. We're run solely by a board.
Awesome. And you guys are located out of where?
We're in Mount Holly, North Carolina.
So where am I calling you now?
You are calling me in Mount Holly, North Carolina. I know it says 301.
Yeah, what?
Yes. So, funny story. I migrated from Trenton, New Jersey, born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Left in my 20s.
Yes.
Moved to Maryland. Stayed there for 15 years, and then moved here to Mount Holly.
Wow. Because I am not. See, it's always good to have someone smarter than you in the room. Can I tell you a little secret? Can I tell you a little secret?
Yes, absolutely.
From the very first time we started talking, I'm like, Mount Holly, that's right down the road. I didn't
Yes, Mount Holly, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, and that's when people get confused. They're like, you live in Mount Holly, you still in Jersey.
Yeah.
No way. No way. I am in North Carolina. I am 9 hours away.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, she's right down the road.
No, sir. Okay. No, sir. Pretty right down the road, 9 hours.
Yeah, I'm Tonya, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Oh,
it's okay.
Man. And you know what? You said Mount Holly so easily. I never even questioned that there was another Mount Holly besides the Mount Holly in New Jersey.
No one does. Never. And they figure, they hear my accent. They're like, she's from Jersey. She has to be. She's a homegirl. She just moved down the road 30 minutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, my God. So this is wonderful. This is now.
Yes, completely different.
Oh, my God. Because we were, when we were talking and prepping, never even questioned which Mount Holly, but that's okay. Please forgive me. Okay, I'm
That's
ready.
okay.
I'm ready.
Listen, it is fine. Most people make that mistake, and I tell them, no, I'm not down the street from a good tea stick. I'm down the street from cows, where the actual tea sticks come from. But it's okay.
Yeah. Now, I think when we were prepping, you were also talking about the other opportunity that you were working on, and you were doing SAT prep for sports, for folks interested into the sport. Share with us that as well, because I thought that was also wonderful as well.
So pre-pandemic, just going to back it up a little bit, SAT and ACT scores were very important.
Yes.
As of late, they have waived most of the scores, especially for North Carolina. You do not have to take SAT or ACT here in order to get admission.
Okay.
But what I tell my sports players all the time, and these are my football players, I'm their academic coordinator.
Yes.
And what I tell them all the time is, so you have a 4.0, a guy from Kansas has a 4.0. You take the SAT and you get a 1200. They don't take it. You're going to edge out that person that has you're going to edge out that person that did not take the test.
Yes. So
I always encourage my players to take the test. So I provide free of charge SAT and ACT prep. I've done it for several students. I've actually done it for a student in New Jersey, and he now attends A&T, North Carolina A&T. So I do it virtually as well as locally.
Wow. And so let's say more about that. How does a kid, an athlete, come to your radar wanting your assistance? How do you go about doing the recruiting process for that?
Well, I have a great guy, and his name is David Duck Riley. He's from New Jersey, too.
Okay.
And
from
David Duck Riley, no, he's from Willingboro.
Oh, okay.
He's from Willingboro.
Okay.
And I've done some work in Trenton as well.
Yes.
But mainly Willingboro High, and he lives down here now. He lives in Charlotte.
Yes.
And I was placed on his radar because I did the ACT prep, and I've gotten great results from students passing and getting admission into college.
Yes.
So he has put out to people that I do that, and people reach out to me, different coaches in the area. And I also speak at one of the biggest football clinics in the nation, I would say, the Glacier Football Clinic. I was one of the first women and one of the first African-American women to speak at a major football clinic.
Now let's stop.
So you had coaches. Okay.
Now let's go slow, because this is very interesting. Let's go slow. You were the first African-American woman to speak at this Glacier Conference.
Yep.
And the Glacier Conference is what?
The Glacier Football Clinic, what they do is they provide, their first thing is they provide local coaches that would be any coaches from whatever region. It's in all over different states in the United States.
Yes.
And they offer different clinics for coaches to learn new routes, new plays, and different things like that. But they decided to start adding a component where it's just more than football.
Yes.
So they reached out to me.
Yes.
And I teach them the academic side, what is needed to get into a 4-year and pass the NCAA clearinghouse.
Yes.
But I also provide the other side of athletic money versus academic money and how you get both.
Wow. Listen, wow, Miss Gail, you are fantastic. You have turned me on to this remarkable woman, Miss Gail. I'm gonna need to treat you to my special salmon. Miss Gail and I, we have this running joke. So I can't recall when it was, but we had this teacher outing at her house, and I think I came with my double stuffed salmon, and this is probably like 10 or 12 years ago. And every now and then she will text me and say, I need that recipe. I was like, listen, I made that from scratch. Half the stuff I don't even remember. But Miss Gail, this interview, this conversation is so fantastic. I am going to I'm going to find the recipe. Even if I have to make it up again, I'm going to deliver it to you or invite you over to the house. As I promised, we're going to have dinner with Mom. And I'm going to have the double stuffed salmon for you, Miss Gail. This is a wonderful conversation. But yeah, she said that you were remarkable. Man, this is fantastic. Wow.
I appreciate that. So I really do.
Now, when you do the SAT and the other prep work, this is under a school, or this is another entity where you're on your own?
I'm on my own.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing that I do about this for athletes and for parents, I don't care what your financial status is. This is my guarantee, because a lot of people say, okay, I'm charging you $300 for this course and that's my flat fee, no way around it, or I'm charging you $500, whatever the case.
Yes.
Well, my guarantee is your child's score will raise and you pay me what I'm worth. And that is what usually gets me the customers, because at the end of the day, it's about these kids being successful. Again, the money will come. People sometimes chase money and end up being failures. Me, I decide to chase success.
Yes.
And success is what's going to get me the money. It's going to come.
I love it. So let's slow down again. So now let's go back to the foundation. What's the contact information for the foundation? And then what's the contact information for this this entity that you're doing now? And tell us one more time that name as well.
Yes. So for AJ and the Cool Kids, which is the Autism Foundation, it's www.ajandthecoolkids.org, and the phone number is 301-267-8750. And for my SAT and ACT prep, you will just email me at T and then T again, OLSON2012 and that's for SAT and ACT prep.
And you'll provide all of that in your bio, so I can include that in your description, right?
Absolutely.
This is fantastic. And so your service could be either in person or virtual for the SAT prep. Oh man, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And if they're within, and I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, so if you're within 30 to 40 miles, and I've even gone as far as Greensboro, which is an hour and a half.
Yes.
To do in-person tutoring, it's up to you.
Wow. And again, the in-person tutoring is free, but they pay you what they think you're worth.
Yes. So if you score, I've had students go from 12 to 19 on an ACT. I've had students, jump up double the points. And we've had so many success stories with our students going to Cornell, Stanford, University of Buffalo from our football program. And we just this one little old 1A football program down in the valley. Yes. And we send them to those big time schools.
Awesome.
And that is what we look for. We always say that's why it's called student athlete. Yes. I can care less about football. You break your leg, hey, what are you going to fall back on? Academics.
Yep.
Academics. So we had a young man, and I know his mother doesn't mind me talking about this, but he's a student at Stanford right now.
Okay.
And he did suffer an injury, but what was great about his NLC, which is your National Letter of Intent, no matter what happened to him, he has 4 years on Stanford for nothing.
Yes.
What got him in the door was football. What kept him in the door was academics.
And your support, right? In your program.
And my support. Yeah. I still talk to him. I still communicate with him. And this year, in May, he will graduate with a degree in data science. Not few African-American males have a data science degree.
Wow. Listen, Tonya, you got to get him on the show. I want you and him back on the show. You let me know.
Awesome.
We got to get him on the show. This is fantastic. Wow.
Marcus would love to do it. Yes. He would love to do it.
Let's call Marcus now.
Because he is very much on making sure that other people know that how to get, the formula that he got.
Yes. Man, this is all right. Man, I tell you what, I am so excited because, man, the interesting thing about the work that you do, and I've never met you, but I can hear in your voice how sincere, how authentic you are about the work that you do, but more importantly, how passionate you are. And I think that you said a lot that's going to really drive you to success. And I love what you said about success. Keep reaching for success. The money will come. I love that. Wow. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Wow. Are we talking to Marcus yet?
We can talk to him. Oh. He is at school, and I'm not sure. He's in California, so I'm not sure if he's in class right now.
Yeah, okay.
So I will make sure that I reach out to him because his story is remarkable.
Yeah, but your story is remarkable too now. So listen, first of all, you are a Black woman, right?
Yes, sir.
From Trenton, doing great things on a national level. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
I will ask parents, we just filmed something for the Glacier Clinic, and I was honored to be tapped for this too, because now I'm among some of the great coaches. I think
yes.
Nick Saban and a couple other coaches are in on this new series that we're doing for parents.
Wow.
And it teaches them how to deal with coaches.
Yes.
Again, the academic side. And I just went to Colorado and filmed the series, pretty much teaching parents how to navigate the athletic world.
I love it. So listen, you add the link to that film on into your bio, and we'll make sure that our listening audience gets a chance to do that. But now,
absolutely.
Let's talk about the personal. Let's talk about the personal, right?
Okay.
What were some of the challenges that you, as an African American woman, had to overcome to be an entrepreneur? What were some of the challenges?
Oh, not being taken seriously. It was literally being in the room with a whole bunch of people that were like, okay, so so your son has autism, so how does that make you an expert?
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, so I do have a master's degree. I have been teaching for 20 years. Yes. I just chose not to go get my doctorate, but I'm well versed in what it takes to become and know what a child needs educationally and developmentally.
Yes.
Because as an educator, you have to learn those things.
Absolutely.
And you have to learn how to spot those things. Even with your organization, when you were helping kids, you pretty much picked up on kids who wasn't picking it up as fast.
Absolutely.
Or who wasn't, right where they should be. And that's something you should know, and you spot. And then what you do, as I said before, you get people that are more expert at it than you are. And that's what it was. And a lot of it, especially being in this area, in this area,
yes.
It was a little bit of a race battle.
Okay.
Making sure my credentials were what they were,
yes.
And making sure that I really knew what was going on. But once I gained the confidence of the people of all races,
yes.
then I was able to have a successful gala this year, and able to reach my goal.
Now,
and I was, and it was hard.
Tonya, when was that aha moment, like, we can keep the door open for you because you're qualified? When did that moment take place?
When they realized that I'm not just helping the African-American community, I'm helping all kids.
Wow.
It was like, oh, so you're not just doing it for Black kids? No, ma'am.
Yes.
We're doing it for all colors, all creeds, anyone who has a problem. And I'm versed in all, not just how it affects the African-American community, but how it affects my Caucasian community, my Asian community, people that really don't talk about it. Oh, my child's friend is autistic. My nephew's autistic. Oh,
yes.
My goodness, this person. And then it starts coming out once you make it relatable.
Yes.
And not just race.
Yes.
Then they say, oh, okay, she really knows what she's talking about, and she's really here to help everybody.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it, but it's so unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just be qualified in your own right because you are passionate and wanting to advocate for your son?
Yeah. I mean, and we've always had that fight. Even, any minorities,
yes.
I won't even pinpoint it to African Americans, but we've always had that fight where we had to prove more than any other. And that's, that's something that's a reality, but it's not a barrier. Yeah. You just overcome it. You jump over it like a hurdle and keep going. If I let people, stop me from what I was trying to do, then I would just be home doing nothing.
My father would often say, you've got to be 3 times as good as the white man for him to consider you his equal.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, Daddy.
Yeah, 3 times? I just can't be 1. I just can't stand on my own?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works, and sometimes, it saddens me, but, you kind of expect it.
Yes.
And you deal with it, you suck it up and you move on. The people that have that ignorant mentality, they stay where they are.
Yes.
The people that are willing to open the door and let you in and make a difference are the people that are vital to your organization.
Absolutely. Man, wow.
And that's how it works.
Man, I'm literally sitting here with my mouth ajar because this is so fantastic. I love it. I love it. Now you're hanging out with AJ. Where are you guys going now? For ice cream?
No, we're actually, what's funny is not that great. My husband he was calling my phone and he was like, my car stopped. And I was like, and it's his work car.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, I'm on the side of the road. I was calling you. I was like, I'm doing a podcast, honey. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast, but I'm coming. I'm like texting him at the same time. I'm like, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Let's interview him too when he gets in the car.
Hey, let's go. That works for me. Let's go.
No, because let me ask that. That's another personal question now, right?
Yes.
So when your son is born,
yes,
and you realize that your son is autistic, right?
Yes.
How did that make your husband feel? How did he respond to that?
We honestly both were kind of saddened because our story is so monumental and we tell people our story. So we've been together 13 years and we've had 4 miscarriages.
Oh, wow.
And in those 4 miscarriages came AJ in the midst of the miscarriages.
Yes. And
when he finally came through, we were like, oh my goodness, this is the perfect little boy. Yes. We've been blessed with the perfect boy. You got a boy and your first time out that never, happened. And, we were so excited. And actually, he didn't show any signs until he turned 1.
Wow.
So we thought everything was fine. And then he literally regressed. Wow. So as I was doing this thing called at the doctor's office, and most parents know what it is, it's called an ASQ.
Yes.
And an ASQ is your different milestones at different ages.
Yes.
And he stopped cold at 12 months.
Wow.
At 12 months, stopped cold. He was babbling, he was walking, he was doing all the milestones, and then literally stopped speaking at 1 year old.
Wow.
Literally. So we were in disbelief because we were like, okay, we don't know what's going on, and we don't know, how to handle it. But what I ended up doing is calling our local, it's a state organization, and they're called CDSA, and they're Children's Development State Agency. And I called them and I said, hey, I think my son's autistic and, or he's having some developmental delays and I would love to get him tested.
Yes.
And they were like, Mom, this is a little bit too young. You might want to wait a little bit. Boys, talk a little bit later. Boys do this. And they were giving me all the excuses in the world on why I shouldn't get my son tested. And I was that demanding parent, squeaky or, wheel gets the oil.
Yes.
That was me. You will not tell me that I need to wait. You will not tell me that, kids, he may talk. No, we're not doing this.
Yes.
We're not doing this. What we are going to do is make sure that he gets all the help that he needs.
Yes. But
all the help.
Now, but I mean, praise God. But what I'm saying to you is that here you are a woman, you're married, you've got your master's degree. So you maneuvering through the minutia is no issue.
Yeah.
But this could be so much different if you were a woman with not a lot of means and you're a single mother at that.
Right.
It could look so different, but I'm glad you and your husband with the foundation are at the forefront and you're going to advocate for all folks. I love it.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly. And my husband, I'm going to be honest with you. He felt like he was almost like it was his fault.
Okay.
But what was so interesting that we found out later, and I said to his mother, why didn't you tell us this information before?
Yes.
He had an IEP as a young man.
Okay.
And she said he had some developmental delays. She was like, but they didn't diagnose it back then, but they really believe he was on the spectrum as well.
Wow.
And I said, so they didn't diagnose it? And she was like, no, it was so different because we didn't know exactly what was going on. We just figured, okay, he needs an IEP because he needs a little bit of extra time to do some work.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how they categorize it. Oh, he just needs a little extra time to do some work. He's okay.
Yeah.
But come to find out, no, he might have been on the spectrum.
Wow. Now let me
Now
let me ask this question spiritually, right? When your son is born, did your husband or either you question, say, God, why me? Why? What's going on? Why?
Oh, listen.
What?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I blame God. I said, you gave me this baby. You finally gave us this baby, and you gave us a baby with problems.
Wow.
Why?
Wow.
Is that our destiny?
Yes.
I don't understand right now.
Okay.
And I was mad at myself. And you know how, and this is so silly, but we as parents do this. I actually told the doctor, I said it had to be my fault. Because, you know, sometimes moms, we get tired, we drop the baby. Sometimes the baby falls. You know, I said I dropped my baby. That's why he has autism.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to need you to stop. I don't know where you thought that was from, but I'm going to need you to stop because that's not it.
Yes.
And I'm like, but, you know, as a mom, since y'all can't tell me why, I got to blame somebody.
Yes.
I got to blame somebody. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to make sure I blame the right person, and it got to be me.
Wow.
So that's going to happen. I'm going to blame me, and I'm going to make sure that, you know, that I shelter the blame. And I was like, yeah, it's my husband's fault too, because one of his nephews has autism. I said, see, it's your genes and it's your family that did it. So that's exactly what happened.
But Tonya, spiritually, how did you overcome that though?
A lot of prayer.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie. A lot of prayer and a lot of just reflecting on what I could have done now and what I can do going forward. Now we have this diagnosis. Now how can I make my son be the best productive citizen in this society?
Yes.
Now let's stop this pity party that you got going on.
Yes.
Pull up your bootstraps and let's get busy.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I started doing, and that's how this foundation was born.
Amen. And
my husband actually birthed the foundation. I, as he says, am the face and the voice because he's a guy that's kind of quiet.
Yes.
But he was the one that said, we got to make sure we get our story out there, Tonya. We got to let people know that just because God doesn't bless you with the perfect baby or what you deem as perfect, he is perfect. We just have to get into his world.
Exactly.
Our world, we think is normal, but to him, we're the weird ones. So, you know, and that's how it works. You know, you have to kind of just change your thinking. And we had to do that.
Yes.
We had to know. And there were many times I cried.
Yes.
There were many times, you know, I still shoulder some of the blame, but it's no one's fault. Yes. It's no one's fault. And that's what parents of special needs children need to know. It's no one's fault.
Yes.
God thought we were strong enough to handle this child.
Yes.
So he gave him especially to us.
Now on that side, has there ever been a moment where you said, wow, to your husband or wow to yourself, I just want to step back and give up? Did you ever have that moment?
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Absolutely.
And what did that look like when you wanted to step back and give up? What was going on at that time?
My son, okay, so it was one particular time, I can definitely tell you, one particular time when I was sitting there and I was like, I really just want my son to call me mommy.
Yes.
And he looked right at me and blinked.
Wow.
And I was like, just say mommy. Just say mommy. And I'm crying and I'm upset. And I'm like, you know what, God, maybe I should just give him up for adoption.
Oh, wow.
And maybe I should just, you know, think about maybe somebody else can take care of him better than I can. Because, Lord, I can't do this.
Yes.
I can't do this. This is something this is a burden I can't bear.
Yes.
And I never even really talked to my husband about that because I was like, hey, you know, he's going to look at me like, you're not giving my baby up. I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to happen. But there are times where we both were like, this is hard.
Yes.
But what we ended up doing is we started trusting people.
Yes.
We started building a community around ourselves.
Yes.
And that made the load a little bit lighter. And then once I got my son the therapy he needed and is still getting, now he won't stop saying mommy. And it's that 5-year-old and you're like, okay, but and just when those times I feel like that I'm tired of him saying my name, I think about the time when he did not.
Yes.
And I'm quiet. And I'm quiet.
Okay,
And
Mommy.
that's exactly how it works.
I love it, Mommy. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So one more time with the founder. He's on point right now. He said, "Mommy."
Yes, he's on point. He's on point. Yes, he is.
Oh, this is a blessing. Wonderful. So one more time with the name of the foundation.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
AJ and the Cool Kids.
Yes, yes. Now, and then with your other SAT prep.
SAT prep is actually Tolson's tutoring service, and
okay.
I'm on Facebook. Most people, just really go to my Facebook page, which is Tonya Tolson.
Okay.
And that's another way they can reach me too. But it's T and T again. So T Tolson 2012@gmail.com.
Awesome. One of the things that I'm sorry, and we gave out a shout out to Miss Gail. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to? Any more folks you want to give?
My absolute wonderful husband.
Yes.
Who is like the best person ever,
awesome.
And who came up with this idea.
Awesome.
And I also want to give out to my board members and my community.
Yes.
Because they have really supported me, the autistic community, my friends,
yes.
Even down to my students who, when I bring him to football games, they take him. Like awesome. They realize that Miss Tolson needs a break. She came out to watch us play football. Yes. So we're going to take her son to the park. Here we go. So I have such a big community, awesome. And I definitely want to give a shout out to them and everybody who helped me and to make this a success.
Awesome. Now, what did you say, football?
Football, yes. Yeah. I was supposed to go to actually a football game tonight. Okay, and it starts at 7.
Okay.
And they, pretty good guys. My JV team is undefeated.
All right.
And they're excited. So that's what we're doing. Yep.
Excellent.
Very, very good.
Tonya, I am not going to take any more of your time, but
not a problem. I am by my husband now, though.
Oh yeah. Well, tell him, ask him if he wants to say a few words.
Hold on 1 second.
Is he still there?
Hello?
Mr. Tolson, how are you, sir?
Doing well, and yourself?
Man, I am fantastic. I just had the wonderful conversation with your wife. She speaks highly of you. We were just talking about all the great work that you are doing with the foundation, your son. And
thank you.
Is there anything that you want to add to the conversation in terms of, what it meant to be, or what does it mean to be a black man with a son that's autistic? What does that mean to you?
It actually means a lot to me, man.
Yes.
It's when I thought of the foundation,
yes.
I wanted how can I say it? I wanted me and Tonya to be honest. I wanted me and Tonya to be the face of autism.
Yes. Okay.
Because it's not talked about enough.
Yes.
And I just feel sometimes that people think every kid with autism is like something's wrong with them and they can't do like other kids can do. They can't do.
Yes.
They just may be able to do it at a different pace or a different speed. But after they get it, they get it.
Yes. I love it.
I just want to create something that to leave a legacy for my son. That's really why I came up with it, to create something when I'm long gone.
Yes.
He can say, my dad started this foundation for me to be the spokesperson for autism.
Yes.
And, we're going to celebrate it. We're going to embrace our disability, and, we're going to continue to move forward. And, we're going to give other families that have autism an opportunity to live a normal life like anyone else. There's nothing wrong with us.
Yes. I love it, man. I just wanted to thank you. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but thank you.
No, you good. You good.
All right.
I created it. I'm the founder.
Yes.
I made my wife the spokesperson for it.
Yes.
I just want to be, a behind the scenes guy, and create change to pretty much, man. I'm just trying to make the world a better place than what I found it, honestly.
And you're certainly doing that. So I want to say congratulations, man. Continued blessings upon your success, brother.
Man, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tonya.
All right, hold on.
Yes.
Hey, Kevin.
Tonya, I want to thank you. This worked out exceedingly beyond my wildest expectations.
Thank you. So I also, is there one more person I could give a shout out to?
Come on now, take your time. Talk to us.
So I have an incredible man who's been with us in our journey, him and his wife.
Yes.
And their name is Eddie and Shapiro Love.
Yes.
And when I say he's an entrepreneur himself, so I'm going to actually segue and have you talk to him. And when I say a serial entrepreneur,
yes.
3 businesses.
Well, but I mean, let's do one better. Give him a shout out, right? Give him my information, and I'd love to get him on the show where he can take his own time explaining what he does.
Awesome. Well, Eddie and Shapiro Love, big part of our circle. They've been with us through every miscarriage, every diagnosis, everything. And they're our biggest supporters of our organization.
Wow.
And I've edited 4 of his books because I'm an editor, but that's a whole other thing for a whole other day.
Tonya, we can come back. We can come back and do another series on just Black love. That's woo.
Oh, that would be amazing.
What?
Amazing.
What? Because
I'm here for it.
I know that's right. I just dropped an episode yesterday, Dr. Monica Reed, and she's in Atlanta.
Nice.
And she's got a magazine called The Black Family, right?
Wow.
And I'm gonna send you a link to that episode, but
please.
She got married at a young age, right? But then she talked about all the challenges and trauma that she had to go through to make sure that her marriage could survive. But I'm talking.
That's right.
I'm talking to you and your husband. You're telling me about the Shapiro Shapiro family, right?
Yes, the Love family. Yep, they're the Love family.
And we need to really, dig deep to talk about what does Black love look like? What does Black love feel like, right?
That's right. That's right.
And that could be a conversation in and of itself. But I want you to first listen to her episode, and then I want you to give Mr. Love my information because I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to do a episode with him as well. But
absolutely,
I just want to thank you for being a part of the platform today. Man, I feel so energized. Wow, this is all right. This is
Listen, I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest with you, Kevin. I've done a lot of podcasts. I'm not even going to lie. I've done some different ones, and this one has been the best one I've done. And I'm not even trying to just, toot no horn.
Are you
because
serious?
This has been one of the most organic, free-flowing. Myself, you didn't mind the interruptions, my son in the background. This has been the most refreshing where I didn't have to feel like I was a robot.
Yes.
I felt like I was myself, and I was able to tell you my story, be transparent, and you get to the bottom of it without having a list of questions, just, firing off, because that's what I'm used to.
Yes.
I'm not used to the organic of it all.
How can you be transparent if I got questions for you?
Listen.
Right?
Listen. You're right. You're not, because you'll never get to the deep part of what an organization and what a person is about.
Exactly. But I think this way, right, people can walk away, the listening audience can walk away and saying, this is a genuine commitment that her and her husband have made to the community and to her child.
Absolutely.
And they can feel, just like I can feel everything coming through the phone, everything coming from your words, that you are real people.
We are real as it gets.
And this is what we want to do. From me messing up thinking that you're in Mount Holly, New Jersey, but that's North Carolina.
That's the funniest part of it all.
Oh, man.
Now that was the funniest part of the interview, because I was like, huh?
I'm thinking you're down the street like, that's all right.
Right. No, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but listen, you and your husband and AJ, you always have a platform here, and
thank you so much.
I'm going to send you the link as soon as we conclude this conversation. I'm going to send you the link so you can listen to Dr. Monica Reed, and we definitely want to circle back around. We want to get an update with AJ, what he's doing, and we also want to talk about Black love, because that's important too. Because I think
that is.
if we're going to be together as man and woman, then Black love has to be at the undergrowth or the undergirdment of how these entrepreneurs and the entrepreneur venture is going to be successful.
Absolutely, and that's what keeps us together, and not just and not through trauma bonding.
Yes,
because a lot of people could stay together because me and him have this diagnosis, but we just truly love each other without that. So that's definitely something I would love to discuss on the Black Love platform.
And we're going to do that. We're going to make it happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I thank you for your time, and I thank you for really reaching out to me. Just because I was suggested does not mean you would have reached out. I really appreciate it.
Listen, when Miss Gail tells you to reach out, you reach out.
You better. You better. You better know it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God bless you and your family, Tonya.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, we'll talk and text in a minute. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.